Hey, welcome to SouthernOregonDefense.com and the Loft of Justin Rosas. I'm Justin. I've been a criminal defense attorney in Oregon since 2007 and throughout the country in federal court since 2013. I'm here today to talk to you about criminal defense consultations, what to expect, and what are 5 questions you should ask in any criminal defense consultation. You've just been arrested, or somebody you know has. A loved one got a citation. There's been an investigation, or a package has just been seized in the mail. You and the people that you care about are huddled around, nervously talking through the options and what might happen, scared for the potential loss of an occupation, scared about the loss of a driver's license, the ability to parent, or perhaps even scared that you may lose your liberty and be incarcerated. That's a brutal situation to be in. It's the kind of situation where we're all going to sit around on Google and on TikTok and here on YouTube looking for information to try to anticipate what might happen, to try to plan for the worst situation. And that's where so many people go to see, hey, I might need to talk to an attorney. That's where so many people see actually the way to talk to an attorney is a consultation. And for most people, that's the first time in their life that they've really been in a consultation, a professional consultation. So, what is a consultation? It seems like a conversation that we might have with a friend over coffee or something that we might have with a financial advisor or a therapist. And that's not far off. But in some ways, a consultation is different with a criminal defense lawyer or an attorney because it's really a job interview. And the job interview is not for you. The job interview is for that attorney to see whether they're the person that can appropriately give weight, value, and concern to your voice in order to show the court, show the system, show the police, show the prosecutor that you are worthy of understanding, worthy of mercy, and get justice in your situation. So many people that sit in these chairs across from me directly, they come in and they're afraid. They've been in that Google twist. They've been in that swirl. They're looking at all the worst possible things that could happen to them and fantasizing about bad possible outcomes. And they sit before me incredibly afraid, looking for any comfort. Of course, all good criminal defense attorneys are trained in being able to have some bedside manner and give comfort there. And so many people hire the first attorney that they talk to. Sometimes that can be a mistake because the first attorney that you talk to may in fact be the least busy attorney, and there may be some reason behind that. So you want to be prepared. And I love it when a prospective client comes in prepared for a consultation with critical questions for me and looking to see whether or not I am the right fit for their case. So often people just look for who is the most used attorney, or who is the highest profile attorney. But it's important that you look for an attorney that's more specific and is fit for your voice and your case and your situation. So, what are 5 questions I should ask in my criminal defense consultation? The first question you should ask is, what's your experience with cases like mine? Why do you want to know specifically about cases like yours? Well, we don't go to the best plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills to get our hearts fixed. We look for somebody who's got a specialty in our particular ailment, in our particular body of part of the body. The same thing is true in legal cases. People specialize, and champion attorneys can specialize at 2 or 3 pursuits, but nobody is a jack of all trades and does all types of cases and does them well. So you want to ask about specific experience with your types of case. The question is, people will often just say, well, yeah, I've got a lot of experience. So how do you follow up on that question? You follow up with what have been good results for you? What has been standard? And what things have you learned in the cases that you've had bad results? If you get an honest interaction with somebody, they're going to tell you. Then you're going to have an idea in your head of what the potential worst case scenario is, what the potential best case scenario is. And you're also going to see if that person is confident but not arrogant. Many trial attorneys are arrogant. Trial attorneys do need to be confident, and confidence without work is arrogance, essentially, to me. But those who are arrogant don't pay attention to the things they can do better. They're not constantly in the lab figuring out what they could refine about their practice, about their storytelling, about their mitigation practice or their expert witness practice. And so somebody who's going to be open with you about those results and about what they've learned from the other cases, not only are they telling you about what the goalposts are for your case, but they're also telling you, hey, this is why I'm able to pull it across and win often. So, what is your experience with cases like mine is the first question you should ask in any criminal defense consultation. The second question you should ask is, what is your plan for my case and for a case like mine? Oftentimes attorneys bristle at this conversation, and I think you're going to look for the attorney that's comfortable using their expertise and the facts as you have given them to begin naming specific things. Well, I was immediately thinking about this when you brought up this issue. I was immediately thinking about we might need a psychological evaluation to show that this isn't the way they think it is. I was immediately thinking that we might need a motion to suppress the evidence because they unlawfully searched the package that was sent. You're going to want to hear nuts and bolts and not just one thing, not just like, hey, I think this is a motion to suppress, but what is your overall plan for the case? What things do you anticipate being involved? And what kind of things do you anticipate needing to do in order to get justice for me, for my family, and for the people who are closest to me? The answer to that's going to illuminate so much about whether they do the actual hard work. People can talk about doing hard work, but people can actually do the hard work. If it's a planner, if it's somebody who's looking at things for the next step that's needed, you think about a contractor, always looking for what I need to build in order to get to an end result. Attorneys are very much project managers, and attorneys should very much be able to name the specific nuts and bolts that they're going to be able to do to take care of you in a holistic way. And it shouldn't be something that they need to be defensive about. So what is your plan for my case and for a case like mine is the second question you should ask in any criminal defense consultation. The third question, how do you communicate with your clients? How often should I expect to be in touch with you? And what do you want to know about me? This is a great question because it sets you up to learn about whether your attorney is able to listen, to actively listen, and that is reflected in their sense of care for you. And it's also indicative. It shows you how they can't voice you in court if they can't listen to you in the office, right? And so you want to hear an attorney that says, I'm going to communicate with you regularly. I expect to go over discovery with you. I expect to go over expert reports with you. I expect to have you involved in each piece of the case. And even though I will be using my expertise to draft motions, I expect to see to learn more about you. And I want to know basically everything I can know about you because sitting with clients, spending time with clients, and becoming more client-centered shows you the outcome in the case. It's been showed time and time again amongst criminal defense trainings. The best criminal defense lawyers are client-centered criminal defense lawyers who do what Cynthia Roseberry calls rocking with their client, sitting down in the rocking chair, learning more about their feelings about the situation, and then being able to put a voice to that. So how are you going to communicate with me and my family, and what do you want to know what do you want to know about me? Hopefully you're seeing a broad answer with a lot of communication to something like that, not someone who's putting up walls between themselves and your family or the people who care about you, not someone who wants to know only a limited set of facts about a certain day in your life, but somebody who's interested in developing an understanding of you as a person, as a spirit, and as a character in order to be able to voice your defense and understand the decisions that you've either made or that you're innocent of having made and why you're in this situation. So question 3, how do you plan to communicate with me? What do you need from me? And what do you want to know about me in order to be my attorney? That's the third question you should ask in any criminal defense consultation. The fourth question you should ask is the question that most people do think of, I would say. That is, what are your fees? The second piece of this is, what's that going to cover? So what are your fees and what's that going to cover is the fourth question in any criminal defense consultation. The reason why you want to ask a question about fees is you got to know what they're asking you for. Some people, the billing for attorneys is so varied that you're really wanting to get, first of all, an estimate so you can get your money in order and get together, get a retainer. You want to be able to compare those things across different attorneys. But you also want to ask the question about what's covered, because so often people will just say, I've got you on this case. Does that attorney go the extra mile? Do they help you out at probation? Do they deal with situations of your pretrial release? Do they argue with your work if your work is trying to impose a sanction on you at work that's outside of the judicial system? Are they going to be involved in your custody situation? Are they going to be involved in all of the other things that come up because of the fact that you're in this situation in the criminal justice system? And you want to know what's the scope of this representation and how much are you going to do for me? And no matter what the answer is there, right? Like you may want to ask then, like, well, what would you also do this? And then what would that cost? That's a perfectly fine question to ask. But you want to get a real concrete idea of what it's going to cost you, what you should expect to be done for you for that cost. And if an attorney can't give you a good answer to that, then you know you're in the wrong office for sure. The fifth question I guarantee that you should ask in any criminal defense consultation is, I want to hear about what drives you to be a criminal defense attorney, and what trainings and situations have you learned the most about your art. Um, I find that this question goes to the deepest issues that criminal defense attorneys face. You want somebody who practices. You want somebody who has passion and spends that extra hour in the office. You want the person that's rocking with the client. You want the person that's going to have the extra conversation with the DNA expert about additional questions that they have. You're going to want somebody who's getting perspective from other lawyers around the country and who's constantly being fed the newest in pleadings and the newest in trainings from other lawyers around the country that hopefully they're in close relationship with. So when you ask this question, you're going to get a feeling for whether the attorney is particularly motivated by, for instance, like search and seizure stuff, overreach of police, whether they're particularly motivated by care for their clients, whether they're particularly motivated by fighting against a system that incarcerates too many people, or fighting against government overreach, racial injustice. You're going to learn more about the motivations of that attorney, which is going to help you then inspire them to do the best in your case, and also help you know what their talents are. But it's also important that you hear about their training and their practice. What have you learned, and where is that taking you? What does that mean about your craft and your art as an attorney? If there is a shallow answer there, there's shallow practice there. If there's shallow practice there, the skills will not be there when the courtroom calls, and the skills will not be there when the proverbial shit hits the fan. So you want to know, like, what is it that you've learned in the course of all the trainings that you've done? What is it that you've learned through your experience that gives you that fire, keeps you burning, and makes you want to be a criminal defense attorney? Because you don't want to hire the most burned out attorney in the world who's just mailing it in and barely dragging it over the line. So, question 5, what makes you want to be a criminal defense attorney? And in the course of your practice and trainings, what have you learned that drives you the most? What inspires you the most? And what issues are you the most excited about confronting? Those are 5 of many questions you should be asking in every criminal defense consultation that you have. You should be paying a lot of attention to everything the lawyer expresses to you, the way their staff treats you, the way the intake process goes, and you should be making a full evaluation of whether this person is talented, whether they have the skills that will actually help you, whether they're willing to do the hard work even when shit gets rough, and whether they're inspired, learning, and ready to roll. You want somebody who's confident. You want somebody who's not arrogant, but you want somebody who's going to voice you, be able to hear you and voice you, and go in there with teeth, be tenacious, be relentless, and advocate for grace, mercy, understanding, and justice. Come back here for more information about what to do when you've been arrested or cited. And obviously, always feel free to reach out to us at southernoregondefense.com. Thanks. Have a good day.